All right, and welcome back to the Paisan Sports Podcast, presented by Elevation 5280 Sports. Dante DePlacido, joined as always by Zach Deal of What's the Deal Sports. So I've got to ask, what's the deal with Philly sports? All of it, might I add, and not even just one team. No, all of the teams. What's the deal with them? Right, the Eagles.
Well,
They've
let's
wait,
slow down.
don't interrupt my what's the deal.
Here we go. Here we go.
Don't you ever interrupt my what's the deal segment,
Here we go.
okay? You had the Eagles who dropped two in a row, their last loss coming against the New York Giants, okay? You have the Philadelphia 76ers losing all of their preseason games so far. Granted, there's a lot of injuries, but that's also the big problem with the Philadelphia 76ers. You have the Flyers who haven't won yet. And I don't consider
here we go. Don't interrupt me.
Hold on. I don't consider this a Philly school, but a lot of people have been mentioning them on the posts about all these Philly teams losing. I'm not even a fan of this team, but I do stick by the moniker of if you are mentioned. Hold on. If you are mentioned in the Rally House commercial, right? If Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, Villanova, Penn State, something, don't be late. If you're mentioned in the Rally House jingle commercial, then there is some weight to you being a Philly school. So you also have to look at Penn State, who's dropped three in a row. Drew Allar is out for the season. James Franklin was just fired. And to top it all off, the team we're going to talk about right now, the Philadelphia Phillies, who seemed like they had some good hope heading into the postseason, had basically the same exact postseason they did a year ago. I mean, what is going on?
Well, all I was going to do, I wasn't going to cut you off. I was just going to chain and build off what you said. I was going to bring up when is another time you could remember when like all facets of Philadelphia sports hit in a negative way like this.
I can't think of a time. I can't think of a time. No,
I'm trying to think of
the only thing really I can think of is in 2022 when the Phillies and the Union both lost the same night, but that wasn't.
I mean, 2018 when we
playing like shit all at once.
2018 after the Eagles won the Super Bowl the prior year and then had that season, and then the Sixers had the season that they had. And then the Phillies were like transitioning and still hadn't made the playoffs in how many years? That was definitely a tough year.
Yeah, but there definitely wasn't like a 1 week stretch where every team. I don't think there's been a single. Like the only win in Philly sports over the past week was the Phillies Game 3 victory. Everything else was a loss, and there's been a lot of games. So it's bad right now. It's bad. Hey, what number does David Montgomery wear?
David Montgomery, number 5.
Okay.
But yeah, now we're talking about the Phillies here. They lose 2-1. Your boy makes the crucial error. Your guy. I didn't want to pound you after the loss. Pause. But I knew you were going to be really upset because that is your guy you're defended, and you know how I feel about him, and I brought him up. So here, defend your guy or do whatever you have to do. But what happened on that play?
Listen, well, now, Orion
and you know exactly what play I'm referencing, too. You know exactly what play I'm referencing, too.
Yeah. Obviously, Orion Kirkering had a very easy out at first and instead fired the ball at home to where, one, he was not going to get the runner. But two, had he at least made an accurate throw that was caught by JT, the runner missed the bag. So he actually would have had the run.
I know. Did you? You saw the. I mean, you probably saw it. I didn't have to send it to you, but I think I sent it to you. He overran the bag and then he went back and touched it. But if the Phillies would have noticed, I mean, couldn't they have challenged it and won that challenge?
Well, no, because he went back and touched it.
So JT would have had to saw him and tagged him when he was coming back.
My point is, had he made an accurate throw, despite making the wrong decision, he still would have gotten the out. So that's my
What was
point.
your initial reaction when that happened?
Not only did he make the wrong decision, but he also whiffed on the throw, right? Obviously, it was a huge mess up by Ryan Kirkering that lost the Phillies the game. But I will also say, it seems like he just full on panicked, and that's not like necessarily an excuse. You can't panic. But he did just full on panic. But the biggest thing is we should have not even been in that situation to begin with for two reasons. One, the offense should have put up more than one run long before that half inning. And two, we should have won the game 1-0 because we should not have walked the 1 for 17 Shohei Ohtani and then ended up walking and run the following batter. I think that is what really lost us the game was walking Ohtani. It was a boneheaded move.
I thought also one of those plays that Trey could have made the play if he like moved a split second earlier on that one play that the ball got hit up into the gap that allowed the runner to get to third. I thought he could have made that play if he moved a little bit. But Kirkering definitely like threw like a sidearm ball to the plate. My initial reaction on that play when the bases were loaded, the drove back to the mound. I thought right as the play happened and they lost the game, I was like, I need to see that back because I wanted to see where the runner was. And Andy Pages was literally looking back at Kirkering, like 40% up the baseline. He would have easily been thrown out. He could have easily made that play, but he just didn't make that play. So that's what sucks. But this is just like, it's just like the same stuff over and over with this Phillies team. They can't get over the hump. And you know what else was my initial reaction? So I was like, I need to see that back. And then when I saw it back, I was like, oh, he could have easily made that play because Pages was like looking back at him. And then I was like, wow. JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber, Jose Alvarado, Ranger Suarez, and Harrison Bader are now all free agents.
Yeah. I listen. I think it's time for a change. I think number one, Topper's got to go. He's got to go. I think
you know how I felt about him forever, and I'm not like trying to pound in on him because it wasn't like solely his fault throughout this entire series.
No,
like,
it wasn't solely his fault. The offense.
It's always the same old offensive like issues, regardless of what players. The base nucleus of the team just doesn't come through.
Listen, the offense obviously was a huge issue all series long, but so was Rob Thompson. And just because all of the blame can't go on Rob Thompson doesn't mean what just happened. Where did Zach go?
You're good. I gotta run real quick to the bathroom, but you're good. I just put you on the solo thing.
Oh, all right. Well, anyway, as I was gonna say, just because you can't put all of the blame on Rob Thompson doesn't mean you can't put blame on him. Doesn't mean it's not time for him to go. Why? He has to be the only reason they lost this series. If anybody else screwed up, that saves Rob Thompson's job. That doesn't make any sense. He needs to go. Listen, the Dodgers played like crap all series. The manager did a terrible job all series. But Rob Thompson and the Phillies did even worse. This is a very winnable series. The 2022 Phillies probably win this series 2-1, if I'm being honest. The 08 Phillies, probably the same. They weren't that dominant of a team. They kind of just had I don't want to call it a miracle run, just a great run. But at any rate, the Phillies really, this series was lost by the Phillies. The Dodgers didn't beat them. Well, I mean, obviously they did, but they didn't lose because the Dodgers were just too good. They lost because they just did terrible. And Topper did a terrible job managing. And after 4 years in a row of not being able to get over the hump, it's probably time for him to go, especially when you consider all the mistakes he made during the series, like walking Shohei Ohtani, like having Bryson Stott bunt when there was a runner on second with, I remember, it was no outs. Yeah, it was no outs. That really screwed us. Leaving Christopher Sanchez in for too long in game 1. There's so many mistakes this series really could have went a whole different way, but it didn't. And Topper's a big part to blame. Of course, so is the offense. Yeah, they're a big part to blame as well. And that's why the next thing I was going to say is it's time to revamp this roster a bit. Costy's gone. Get rid of him. Brandon, get rid of him. Alec Boehm, I say get rid of him. And you can counter argue, like Boehm or Marsh. Well, they started playing better in the second half of the year. They do this well, they do that well, blah, 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 blah. Listen, outside of Castellanos, you could make a case for just about anybody on this roster staying on the roster, right? These guys do just well enough to where you can make a case for keeping them. But that's the problem. This is year 4 in a row of this guy having a case to stay on the roster, so he stays on the roster.
Well, who's the
good
issue,
enough
bro?
to stay on the roster, but this roster isn't good enough to get it done in the postseason. So
bro,
you gotta say the hell
you're the one
and revamp it.
You're the one that always says they don't need to do anything crazy. I was saying last year, who did I want in free agency? I said 2 guys' names. Who did I want?
I wanted Soto.
We both wanted Soto. Who else did I want? I brought his name up how many times, and you said we're straight at that position. And you just said,
Alex, was it Alex Bregman?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you said, no, Alec Boehm's fine. He's an all-star. And then it's the same thing every year in crucial time. What did he do when we needed him most in the 4-hole? Pretty much nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
And what happened? How many times in the series? What was the number one moment? As much as I like him as a person, but who was the number one guy that got crunched in all the crucial moments of the series? Was it not Brandon Marsh getting caught with the bases loaded with 2 outs? How many times in the series and just not being able to come through on left-handed pitching? It's the same story.
And that's what I'm saying is, all these guys that have performed well enough to stick around, but can't get done in the postseason. They all got to go.
So what would you? I like a guys like I would like to bring in Kyle Tucker, a Cody Bellinger, somebody like that. I think they actually need like a fresh to the.
Here's what I think.
Also, real quickly, while I'm just talking about it, while I can bring it up, I don't think Kyle Schwarber is good enough to bat that high in the order. And what do you think about him? I think he's very important to bring back. But then again, he's batting 240, and he can't be batting in the 2-hole because he just doesn't come through enough consistently.
No, I've always thought he should. I've always thought since he got here, he should be the cleanup hitter. It's this new way of thinking with baseball that I just don't agree with. I think Kyle Schwarber needs to be your cleanup hitter. But what was that? Here's what I think the Phillies need to do or should do. Right? In 2022 and 2023, you brought in all this talent, right? You brought in Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos and Trey Turner. And even in 2018, you bring in Harper and JT Realmuto. You bring in Zach Wheeler. You bring in all these guys, right? And it gets you into the postseason, but doesn't get you a World Series. So instead of getting rid of all these guys and bringing in more guys, what I would rather them do is get rid of a bunch of guys. And if other free agents or trades can fall into their lap where it's like, this is a deal that really makes sense, or this is a young guy that we can bring in, then go ahead and do it. But don't reach for it, and instead promote from within. And if this team isn't good enough to make the postseason that way, then so be it. Right? But it's time to, I don't know. It's time to just do something different.
Well, they have the same tendency and same issues and the same moments. Bryce does hero ball. One was the count. I think it was in game 4, wasn't it? When Bryce was up 3-0 in the count and he swings at the 3-0 pitch and then he fouls off a 3-1 pitch and then now he's in a 3-2 count and then he grounds out to end the inning when he was up 3-0 in the count. And he always is trying to do hero ball. And then Castellanos getting thrown out in the bunting in the sacrifice situation.
But if I remember correctly, I think it was a 2 outs bases open situation where, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but I always believe in those situations a walk is going to do nothing, so you might as well swing on a 3-0. But no, Harper simply wasn't. But overall, Harper simply wasn't good enough this series, and nobody was. Nobody was, and this is the second series in a row.
Well, they had the one game. They had the one game that they did good. I think it was game 2 when they were like 7 for 13 at the top of the order.
Game 3, yeah, game 3.
Yeah, but when it mattered most,
game 4 hit 2 home runs, and
when it mattered most,
you can't just have one good game. 2 total in the past 2 postseasons. Last year it was game 2 that they did well. This year it was game 3. You can't just have 2
the most too.
What's that?
Do you know how the Blue Jays made it to the championship series?
Yeah.
You know who they used as pitching to get them to the championship series?
Hoffman?
It was Sir Anthony Dominguez and then Hoffman to close it out to get to the championship series.
Yeah, meanwhile, our bullpen didn't perform the best this postseason.
And
it's the second postseason in a row where the starting pitching was tremendous. And not only was the starting pitching tremendous, we didn't allow Shohei to do literally anything the entire series. And
I know we lost the game when he was 0 for 5 at the plate. That's what really disturbed me. That's what I was really upset about. I think we talked about that last podcast because that was game 1, I think. But it was
it's a total waste. It's a total waste when you have a team that has the.
Well, Topper doesn't get the most out of them.
Yeah, no, he's got to go. Topper's got to go, man. It's done. It's done. It's over with Topper. He's got to go. A lot of guys on this roster have got to go. Bring up guys from the minors. Bring up.
Do you think Crawford's automatically up in the outfield this offseason? And do you think
I think Kepler. First of all, I think anyone in this outfield has a case for leaving. Right? Talk about guys.
Well, I think this is the best way. The best way would be bring Crawford up and get Kepler and Marsh out of the mix, and then go from there. And then Castellanos will probably be gone. But you would have Crawford try and bring back Bader, and
I would love to bring back Bader. But listen, in the majors, seeing significant playing time, I think it should be Justin Crawford. I think it should be Otto Kemp. I think it should be Aiden Miller. I think it should be Andrew Painter.
Well, I was gonna ask, would you try to open like a straight up position for Otto Kemp, or would you just try and have him as like a Edmundo Sosa utility guy that kind of just fills in every other day for like a different position?
It depends entirely. It depends on if you keep Bohm.
What position?
It depends on how many guys from the outfield you get rid of, because you could always play left field.
Well, you owe an apology. You saw what I texted you the other day. You owe an apology to JT.
Why?
Because he was balling.
All right. We still lost the series. I'm not issuing apologies to any players when we.
Well, would you bring JT back with the way that he was playing at the end of the season?
I would bring him back on a team-friendly deal, especially because we have nobody else at catcher. If we saw it at Eduardo Tate, I would say maybe not.
That's
maybe let rock with Marchand for a year and then Eduardo Tate. But
that's
the thing. That's the thing. I want all these young guys. I want them up in the majors. I want all these other guys who haven't panned out. I want them gone. And I don't want to hear, well, you can't trust a bunch of young guys to get it done. I don't care if they get it done or not. This is a year, in my opinion, to regroup, develop young talent, and see what you have. That, in my opinion,
I think regardless of what you do,
for a title is either gone or it's on pause this upcoming year because it ain't happening.
I think regardless of what you do, if you don't win a playoff series, that you got to the same point as every other team in the league that didn't do that as well. Regardless of if you have a first round bye in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't matter. Instead of letting all these guys waste away in the minors so that you can have these guys up in the majors that don't perform in the postseason. Get rid of them and let your young talent develop in the majors.
What position would you invest in if you bring back JT? Realistically, I know you love Schwarber, but who would you bring back if you had to choose between JT and Schwarber? Who would you realistically bring back? JT on a friendly contract or Schwarber on a big deal?
Schwarber on a big deal. Despite everything I've just said, Schwarber on a big deal.
You love him a little bit too much. Like, you're like not willing to criticize and realize that like he has like major issues.
No. Listen, I'm willing to criticize him, but I just think when you have a guy who mashes 40 plus homers every season as a Philly, you can't just get rid of that.
I understand, but he just like, I mean, I know he had the 2-run home run game in the playoffs, but other than that, he was horrific the entire series.
Yeah, but so was everyone.
But he's been in the 2-hole, and like
they were all bad. They were all bad.
What type of manager would they need if they got rid of Topper? I feel like they would already fired him like the day after they lost that series. If that was the case, maybe they'll still do it. As the Mariners Cal Raleigh just hit a home run in Game 1 of the championship series in the top of the 6th to tie the game, 420 feet. 1-1. Also, on baseball, real quickly, while we're talking about other teams, we'll get back to the Phillies. 15 innings the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
Friday night?
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I saw that happen.
Yeah, that was insane. But what with those 5 free agents that I just mentioned, who would you like? How do you go about it? You can't bring back all 5. That's not realistic. So don't even tell that to me. No. But how would you go about it?
So wait, so the 5 being Ranger,
it's JT
Schwarber, JT Schwarber,
Ranger.
Who's the 5th?
Ranger, Jose Alvarado, and Harrison Bader.
Oh, Jose. Out of those 5, if I had to choose, that's tough, man. That's because I would ideally like to bring. I mean, out of all the guys I want them to get rid of, none of them are any of those 5 guys. I would like all of them to remain as Philadelphia Phillies. And I do think it would be more realistic to keep them if you get rid of the other guys. So I don't know, man. That's tough.
Insane. That's insane. I just told you that's not realistic, bro. You know that's not realistic. You know
that's I know it's not. That's why I'm saying, and I can't choose between the 5.
Choose between them, bro. Why do you always make it so homer based? Like, I can't do that.
No, it's not like, homer based. I just can't decide.
Every time I try and make a thing up, you're like, I make 2 players. You're like, oh, I love them so much, both of them. Like, bro, pick. It's realistic.
I would get rid of Bader and JT Bader and JT gone.
So Ranger, Schwarber, and Jose. I feel like that's fair enough. I would probably honestly, even though like you know how I feel about all those 5 players together, I probably honestly that would be probably the best route to go. I like Harrison Bader a lot, and I like JT, and I think he's still balling. I think JT's low key really important to the team's clubhouse. JT and Schwarber are definitely the 2 most important guys to the clubhouse, but I love the idea of Jose Alvarado and Johan Duran coming out of my bullpen as the last 2 guys in a playoff series, left-handed and right-handed.
Well, my thing is the whole reason why it's tough to get rid of JT isn't because I love JT. It's because we have no one else at catcher, right? But the other guys, and the reason why I say Bader is because I'm not when you have all those players to keep, I'm not going to make a decision to keep Bader over any of them just because of how great he played after the.
We also have Justin Crawford, who is an outfielder too.
Sample size, yeah, and you have Justin Crawford, you have Otto Kemp who can play the outfield.
Because you could
But Jose Alvarado, I'll say the reason why I don't want to get rid of Jose Alvarado is because I'm tired of losing relievers and trying to rebuild the bullpen from scratch every single year. So that's why I don't want to get rid of Alvarado. I don't want to get rid of Ranger because I mean, he's just he's a great starter. I just don't want to get rid of that. And Schwarber, I already said why I don't want to get rid of Schwarber. So that's my reasoning.
Yeah, but that's just not realistic. So
also Ranger, he performs in the postseason every single time. So
yeah, I really liked how they went that game with Nola 2 innings and then Ranger long armed it. I really liked that approach from there. But
yeah, and it worked out really well actually, and it was smart too because usually Nola implodes in the third or fourth inning. So yeah,
it was horrible. It was really horrible. That Brandon Marsh automatic 1 strike.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
that was horrible.
Yeah, that hurt. Yeah,
that hurt really bad. That was in a big moment too. But what type of manager, if they do get rid of Thompson, do you think they need?
I don't know, man. They've had every different type of manager since Charlie left, and none of them have worked out. So honestly, I have no freaking clue. I mean, they had the exact opposite of Rob Thompson. That was Gabe Kepler.
You saw, isn't Pujols becoming the Cardinals manager?
I did not see that.
I think I sent that to you. Do they need like Jim Thome up in the locker room or somebody like that?
Well, I saw a lot of people online saying they want Jimmy Rollins. That would definitely be interesting. I would be down for that, but I doubt that would happen.
Do you think stuff like that works personally? Because the Flyers did that with I mean, this is when we can actually mix the Flyers in. The Flyers have been diving into like the old player bag to like rejuvenate some like energy to the team. The Sixers have done it with like guys like Doug Collins before.
Mo Williams.
Yeah, Mo Williams.
I mean, not Mo Williams, Mo Cheeks.
Mo Cheeks, yeah, Maurice Cheeks.
Yeah. Yeah, they did that with Mo Cheeks. That didn't work out. He was
Willie Green, the former Sixers, a coach, but just not for the Sixers. But yeah, it's like some
Deuce Staley as a running backs coach. That worked out for a long time.
Yeah, I remember when the Eagles like were looking for a coach. Everyone was trying to get Brian Dawkins as a coach and this, that, the other. So, but I wonder. I feel like the old player is really prominent in like baseball and basketball and like hockey, of like those guys becoming like a coach again. So maybe that's the approach they go. But I don't know. I feel like they're gonna try and not blame it on Thompson. I feel like they're gonna try to retain those guys, but it's not realistic. They're gonna retain all 5 of those guys. So but they're gonna have to do some digging. I feel like 2 guys that really have to evaluate. I think they're gonna have to make a decision between keeping Bryson Stott or Alec Boehm. I don't think they can keep both of them. I think they have to trade one of them while the value
is. Or get rid of both of them. Man.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be
opposed. Rock with Aiden Miller.
I think keeping both. I think keeping both is not worth it. I'd be down for getting rid of both, but I don't think they can keep both.
It really is a shame that all of the good players that we want to keep are on expiring deals, and all the guys we want to get rid of are still under. It really is a shame how it's shaking out.
At least we got Johan Duran. I mean, hopefully Bryce can actually have a healthy season. Not sure what will happen with Costume. Maybe he survives just based off of them losing other guys in the outfield and him still being on a contract. I think I mean, you saw the video of Schwarber crying when talking about his last potential game as a Philly. There's a chance
I did not watch that video. I didn't watch anything after that game ended. I didn't watch anything.
Yeah, there's a video of Kyle Schwarber talking about his last potential game with the Phillies, and he was crying about it. So there's a good chance that he's no longer a Philly. The teams are going to be throwing money around.
There's a very good chance. And
I really throwing money around for a guy that hit 56 home runs. A lot of teams could use that and will put him in the 4-hole in the right lineup in the right spot, not the 2-hole where he's not going to be utilized correctly like the Phillies do. So they'll see value in him and do that, and maybe he'll feel more comfortable in a role like that.
Yeah.
Real quickly before we move on to like Eagles, it's early in the process. We'll talk about it more as more of the playoffs because there's 4 teams still playing. But we mentioned some free agents like Cody Bellinger and stuff. I just want to look up some available free agents. So JT, Salvador Perez, catchers I'm listing. I'm going to list some guys that we may know. Danny Jansen, James McCann, Gary Sanchez, Mitch Garver, Martin Maldonado. Pete Alonso is going to be back in free agency. I know we didn't do that last offseason. Then he had a phenomenal year this year. Would you dip into the Pete Alonso bag now, Dante, or are you still heating?
I don't really care about free agency. That's the thing. I just want to get rid of people. Like I don't really like.
I'm going to name some guys.
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from bringing in talent, discussing bringing in talent. None of it works out. We don't win.
You want to see what the young talent from within can do?
No.
That's the Seattle Mariners.
Let me clarify. Let me clarify. Stop. No, that's not what I'm saying. So let me clarify. Like I said earlier, bottom line is they got to get rid of guys, right? Now, if you bring in talent and you don't force it, it just works out and you're able to bring some people in, great. If not, also great, right? So I'm not saying I don't want to bring anybody in, but I am mentally, emotionally exhausted from, who should they add this offseason? Who should they add this deadline? They don't bring anyone in. They don't make a trade for anybody, or they do bring somebody in, but he stinks. I am mentally exhausted from the conversation of it. And the other thing on top of that, is I really want them to get rid of guys. So I'm just so much more focused on hopefully they get rid of people than hopefully they bring in people. So that's just where I'm at right now.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's get into the meatball of the week so we can talk some football.
Yeah, and my meatball of the week. Whoa.
You're like grunting and moaning over there, so you might meatball of the week.
Yeah, I was stretching my back. My meatball of the week, I'm just gonna go with another meatball trio. But this is just a mini trio, a trio of mini meatballs, because I don't know, there wasn't any big meatballs this week. At least I didn't feel like, other than Kirkering, but I can't make him the meatball of the week in my heart of hearts. So my first meatball of the week is Cam Ward, because the spirit of Will Levis is living on in the body of Cam Ward. Okay, I don't know if you saw him drop back to throw and he cocked his arm back and he just dropped the football and he fumbled it. But that meatball of the week,
that was the Jameis Winston Florida State special back in the day. Remember he did that in the national championship.
I don't recall that. I do not. My other meatball of the week is Justin Fields. Just because he was just really, really bad. I haven't had a chance to actually check the box score, but that's what I've heard. So I'm just going to stick with it and roll with it. So he's my other meatball of the week. My third meatball or meatballs of the week, just Penn State. They've been such a train wreck, and now they fired James Franklin, who's been there a long time. So Penn State and also James Franklin is the third meatballs of the week. So those are my meatballs.
All right, I like that. I think I sent you today. I thought you were to steer it near here. Did you see 2 Colts players couldn't play today because of injuries and warm-ups?
I didn't see that.
Anthony Richardson and Shadavius Ward.
Yo, speaking of the Colts, man, where are they? 5-1 now?
Yeah,
Daniel Jones has been good. He's been good. He hasn't been like elite. He hasn't been phenomenal. But
today I watched the game today. He was actually ripping the ball. Like the spirals were actually nice. He was actually ripping the ball. He's playing ball.
I guess it really shows how bad.
Even if he's not doing anything too crazy, for you to beat 5-1.
But also though, I mean, Jackson Dart looks pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. So
what about Cam Scatterbo?
Jackson Dart's looking good.
What about Cam Scatterbo?
Cam Scatterbo looks great.
Cam Scatterbo is literally built like
he looks great. Jackson Dart looks great. I think honestly, ever since Jackson Dart took over Russell Wilson, I think this is a decent Giants team. And dare I say, they might be the second best team in the NFC East.
I was going to say, didn't I ask you before the season who the second biggest threat to the Eagle, or the first biggest threat to the Eagles would be, if it would still be Washington. And obviously Jaden Daniels has been hurt, but he's going to be back tomorrow night because there's a doubleheader on Monday Night Football for Week 6, and he'll be back for one of the games. He's one of the Monday night.
I don't like all these Monday night doubleheaders. I don't like,
and all the London games too. There's a London game like every morning for like,
and there's a morning game every week too.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also a morning game every week. It's too much. It's too much.
No, I like it. I kind of like it. I like it.
Yeah, too much. Too much.
But Eagles, back-to-back losses, 2 losses in 4 days. What's going on with the Eagles?
Yeah. Well, one, injuries, right? We can't ignore that. We can't ignore how much they missed Jalen Carter out there. We can't ignore,
even though he's been asked this year anyway.
We can't ignore having to what's his name? Kelee Ringo got benched against the Giants, but then what's his name got hurt and he had to go back out there, right? So I mean the secondary's banged up. Nolan Smith is out and the pass rush looks terrible. Right?
The pass rush has been terrible all season long with Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith in there anyway.
Yeah, but it makes it worse when they're gone.
The most they're getting in one game. The most they're getting in one game is like 2 sacks.
Also, Makuba looks terrible.
And they can't stop the run.
Great at first, but now he looks bad. That's another issue.
They can't stop the run up the middle.
Landon Dickerson being out is an issue. Brett Toth.
They're definitely not as physical. They don't have the physicality identity that they used to have with running the ball. Saquon's averaging like under 4 yards per carry. And this particular Thursday, this was the worst I think Zach Bond's looked since he's been an Eagle.
And obviously, the most obvious, the play calling. It feels like Kevin Patullo has like a couple of good drives and then just doesn't know what he's doing the rest of the time. And it feels like every time there's a big play, usually Jalen Hurts calls it. So
it looks like they're 2 different teams like every other half.
Yeah. So
but they had the 2 things that
I hope. Sorry, go ahead.
The 2 things that they're always good at that they're just not doing anymore, that I think is the big reason why they're caught with like having no confidence and lacking an identity, is they have a horrible pass rush and they can't run the ball. It's 2 things that like is the identity of the history of all of Eagles football. That's what's
I mean, you're absolutely right. Every time there's a great Eagles team,
they run the shit out of the ball and they stack the quarterback.
But let's not ignore we did have a great play made by Zadarius Smith that was taken away on the quarterback. Or was that against the Broncos? You know what? I'm starting to lump these 2 horrible losses together in my brain now that I think about it. Might have been against the play by Zadarius Smith. When the QB got rid of the ball at the last second and they picked up the flag for intentional grounding when it should have been intentional grounding.
I think that was the Broncos game.
I think it was the Broncos game. You might be right. So Darius Smith has been our only good pass rusher, by the way, might I add. But also, I will say, not to like be complaining or anything, but I will say, I mean, the refs did play a part in the loss against the Giants. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, they also lost by 17 points, bro, in 3 possessions. So,
so maybe that was the Broncos game I'm thinking of. What was the game where the guy was fighting for extra yardage and then Zach Bond came in and they threw the flag?
That was the Broncos game, bro.
Oh my God! Yeah, no. So it was the Broncos, right? Okay, so the rest did not
play 2 games in 4 days, bro.
Yeah. I've kind of lumped them both together in my
They're
mind.
not really that confusing because one was on the
road. No, what actually really hurt them in the Giants game, they had a chance to get back in it, and then it was AJ Dillon who fumbled, and that kind of put the nail in the coffin. So that really hurt. AJ Dillon fumbling. That was a big screw up.
Their offensive line's not that good. They're definitely not the best offensive line in the league, and they're not even close to it anymore. They had the talent to be that again, but I think just being banged up And I think losing Mekhi Becton is actually kind of showing his colors, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's
it's not like it's that big of a deal. It's not like they can't win without him, and it's drastic. But I think if everybody was healthy and he was still in their lineup, I think they would be as dominant as they were last year. They can't run the ball the same way that they do. Like, it's just not a thing anymore.
But I do think a big part of it is they're not effectively passing the ball to open up the run. I think that is a big contributor.
No, I don't think it's not. It's not that they're not effectively passing the ball. They're not effectively balancing the run and pass and establishing both.
Yeah, or that time. If you want to put it,
they only do one or the other. They only do one or the other.
Yeah, no, it's been bad. It's been bad. I do want to talk though about, I think this loss comes at a good time where it's not, okay, now you have a bye week, but now you do have some extra time off considering it was a Thursday night game. So hopefully that'll help get them back on track. That'll help get them a bit more healthy and get back on track. And I do wonder which quarterback they face next week. Is it to be Wentz? Are we facing Wentz, or is JJ McCarthy still expected to return? I have no idea, actually.
I'm not sure. I think we have to wait to see what the case is with.
I also wonder if JJ McCarthy is ready to return with the.
I don't think it really matters. I think I don't think there's any like storyline we need to play out with Carson Wentz being the former quarterback and like him and Wentz. I think the Eagles have lost 2 games and they need to just figure it the fuck out, honestly. And they need.
No, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying I think it would be fun to watch us go up against Carson Wentz. That's all, really.
Yeah, but I don't think that. Like that. Usually, like if the Eagles are 8-1 and they're playing Carson Wentz, who's like 5-3. You know what I mean? Like, play up the storyline. But I think they're actually in a moment where they really need to just lock in and look just like tunnel vision and figure it out.
No, definitely. But I'm just saying, not from the team's perspective. I'm just saying from my perspective as a viewer, I want to go up against Wentz. That's all I am saying. So I'm curious if we're facing.
All right, cool. Well, strap some pads up and play some linebacker then if you want to go up against Wentz. You want to go up against Wentz.
No, also I just want to see the Eagles play Wentz. I don't understand what
you said. You want to go up against Wentz, so you better strap your pads up and go against them. Also, you need to, while I'm gunning you right now, you need to go take some clippers and buzz your head because the Eagles are at a cross points. And last year, you said you would shave your head just like Sirianni did if the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I'm doing the
you didn't shave your head
now. Look how bad my hair looks at the moment. This is
you should just shave it and start from square one, like
this
you
is
promised.
Worse than because I'm growing it out. So right now, with how bad it looks, this is actually worse than.
No one cares. No one cares.
Either way, my hair is suffering through this season, and in the long run, isn't that really what it's all about?
No one cares.
It absolutely is. But we will decide. Because I do deserve to be punished for not actually shaving my head. So we should come up with something there. But the basic story of it is, I was going to shave my head and then I thought of a hairstyle I wanted. So now I'm growing my hair out into that instead because that's what I decided to do.
Yeah, because that's what grown men do. But I think what the Eagles need to do is establish the run and establish a pass rush. I think that's 2 things. You know how Howie is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know how Howie is. Do you think he's loading up? He's got how many draft picks? Was it 10 in this draft specific? I think it was 20 draft picks in the next 2 years and like 10 this draft or something crazy. Do you think he loads up some of his draft picks and go get some pass rush help? Because they definitely need some pass rush help. I think
he should. I think he absolutely should. Or I think he should go and get a corner. Because I think the secondary needs help. I think either way, I think he just needs some. I think he definitely needs.
What about Denzel Ward? The Browns already traded Greg Newsome, one of their corners.
Yeah, I would love Denzel Ward. That would be amazing. Give up Keeley and whatever draft pick they want.
Well, they should have never got rid of
Denzel Ward.
They should have just signed Darius.
They should have never got rid of Isaiah Rodgers. They should have gotten rid of
they should have kept. They should have kept Slayer Rodgers. They should have signed Slater a 1-year deal, or just paid Rodgers the 2 for $15 like he wanted.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think this offseason was a little bit mismanaged by Howie, and I
don't think it was mismanaged. I'm not going to say it that way. I'm not going to say it that way because I think it was the right moves to try and get guys to progress from within that had potential and cut loose some guys that wanted some extra money, but it just didn't work out specifically.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like, whether you could justify the moves how we made this offseason or not, the bottom line is the moves how we made this offseason aren't panning out, right? And what I was going to say next is, I've seen fans online, and I'm not going to say fans, but I saw a fan say this, and I saw him get a good amount of likes. So some fans agreed with it, but somebody's already saying fire Howie. We're already back to that, which is insane. It's like he's not going to have a goated offseason every single year. The guy who's brought us 2 Super Bowls to just get rid of him.
Fire Howie's insane.
I've ever heard of. The dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Yeah, he had a bad offseason again for the first time in 5 years, even though they just won the Super Bowl, and he's brought us our 2nd Super Bowl ring. Yeah, no, get rid of him. Get rid of it. I think it's so dumb because it's even if he had a bad offseason and this year goes poorly, it's why is, no matter how great you are, your leash is just one bad year and you're gone?
Also, you know what his most recent trade that he's getting graded off of that has been horrific is Tank Bigsby. He sucks.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because that's actually a big topic I did want to talk about that I almost forgot about. Not Tank Bigsby specifically, mainly Tank Bigsby. Here's one big part of the problem with this Eagles team that I think is being way overlooked. This Eagles offense almost never has good starting field position. And that's a legitimate problem. That's not like that's not like a nitpicky thing. That's not just finding something extra to be upset about. No, that's a legitimate issue. If you're starting all of your drives within the 15, sometimes the 10, sometimes the 5, if you're starting all of your drives that way, you're setting yourself up for failure. And it's
remember when we beat
it's week in and week out.
Remember when we beat the Rams?
All you need is somebody to just field the kickoff. The kicker kicks the ball. You field the ball. You run with the ball. It's not hard. You have hands. You have feet. You can accomplish these things. You would get just about anybody to do it. But Tank Bigsby, and I don't fully pay attention during every kickoff. I don't know if John Mechie is still fielding kick returns. I don't know if what's his name is still fielding kick returns. But if these guys can't just simply field the ball and advance it past the 15, then what are they doing here? And why are we allowing this to continue to happen? It can't keep happening.
Yeah, I think our offensive line and defensive line is not as good as it used to be.
Those are the big issues, the more obvious issues. But this is also a serious issue, in my opinion.
Well, I was going to say, remember when we beat the Rams and obviously we blocked 2 kicks, but people are like, the special teams won the game, but wait, we also had the special teams completely screw us in that game with the field position, with us not being able to field kicks from Cardi, the Rams kicker, because he kept kicking those squib kicks on us and pinning us inside the 15-yard line every single time. So we couldn't even fully appreciate special teams that day because our kick return team was horrible. So it's been an issue all year, but they've just been having issues. And I think even Vic Fangio, a guy that seemed like untouchable for a little bit of time, I think everybody can get a little bit better. I think it's an issue with everybody right now.
Yeah, it definitely is. Let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. I feel like there's
How you feeling about
I
the
feel like
season?
there's a lot to talk. I mean, not like a lot, but
how you feeling about the season?
I mean, maybe it's because the Phillies and the Eagles have been absolutely shitting the bed. But I think there's some promise with this 76ers team.
Yeah, well, we have the third overall pick that we weren't necessarily the guy that we wanted. We wanted Ace Bailey all along, but this guy's been pretty impressive.
And we were so wrong. We were
very wrong. I'm actually very, very happy that they went with VJ Edgecombe. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
And he looks like an absolute stud.
We can both admit we were wrong when we kept clamoring for Ace Bailey. No, VJ Edgecombe was the guy.
So Jared McCain is out to start the season. Joel is probably going to be out to start the season. Also, obviously, news outside of the Sixers, but probably the most important person in the history of basketball. LeBron's also going to be out to start the season as well. And we had some other players. We have Jason Tatum out in the Eastern Conference. Dante, don't forget these things. Tyrese Halliburton and Jason Tatum are out in the Eastern Conference. If the Sixers get some momentum and they get Joel Embiid back, they could actually – or can we go down this road and say, could the Sixers actually go on a run this year? I mean, if we're talking talent-wise, this is one of the most talented teams in Sixers history. Let's be honest.
It is, but it's also one of the most. It's also
probably one of the most fragile teams in the history.
Yeah, the most fragile. Yeah,
Jared McCain is already out after recovering from the knee.
Jared McCain's already out. Embiid's already out. Paul George is already out. VJ Edgecombe already suffered an injury in the summer league. It's just this team is made of glass. And the guys who aren't made of glass are super old, like Eric Gordon. And I don't know. Is Andre Drummond going to see minutes when Embiid gets back? I have no idea. I'm guessing.
Kelly Oubre's still on the team. Kyle Lowry's still on the team.
Yeah, Kyle Lowry. I keep forgetting he's still here. How is he still here? How is he still here?
He's not going to be getting minutes, bro. He's just the 15th guy. He's not going to be getting minutes. He's probably just going to.
But it's just crazy that he's still here, though.
He's going to come in to use some fouls.
Is this year 3 or 4? No, this is year 3.
I think it's year 3.
Yeah, it's year 3. It's year 3. But yeah, it's just crazy that he's still here, and it's funny too because we wanted Kyle Lowry in Philly for so long, and then we end up getting him when he's ancient. But you know what? He did well in that first playoffs we had.
I'm saying I'll take Kyle Lowry in a playoff series to go get 3 fouls in 8 minutes and be physical with another team's point guard. I'll take him in that type of role. And then I got Jared McCain, hopefully, and Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey's even not the most durable either. So every player currently on the Sixers that has talent has some form of issues physically with their conditions. So just hopefully they can stay healthy because this really, I mean, in recent memory, Dante, the James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid Sixers with Tobias Harris, and also the Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, Phil, and Joel Sixers. Those are the last 2 teams that were as talented as this team. If we're going player for player talent wise, up and down the roster.
So I mean, obviously, you look at the.
Also, JJ was on one of those rosters with one of those.
Yeah, I was gonna say, obviously, you look at the 2017 to 2018, or no, I'm sorry, the 2018 to 2019 Sixers with what we thought was a super team when the deadline was over of Ben, JJ, Butler, Tobias, and Embiid. When that really crazy Tobias trade was complete at the deadline, we really we thought it was a lock to make the finals with that roster. So that's one. I also think the team the year before that was very talented just because of all the perimeter shooting they had with Ilyasova, JJ Redick, Bellinelli.
Marco Bellinelli.
I think the team that got the 1 seed and lost to the Hawks in round 2, that's another big talented roster. But yeah, no, I mean this roster talent wise is absolutely stacked. The problem is it's very guard heavy and very fragile. So
I think they're just
I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see how the season shapes up. And I think it's going to be more fun.
I think they're gonna play it by ear, see how they do. If they're actually competing, they'll keep the guys like Kelly Oubre and Andre Drummond on the roster for like a playoff run. But if they're in a spot at the trade deadline where it looks like they're not going to compete, they'll trade off some of those guys like that and get ready for the future, and maybe even get rid of Paul George and then let VJ Edge come ride the rest of those last couple months of the season out and blossom into that star with the young nucleus of like Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey next to him.
Yeah. So, and that's what's going to be fun about this season is there really is no expectations.
And maybe what if like a Dean Bona's like averaging 10 points and getting like 7 rebounds in like 20 minutes? That'd be fire.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what I mean. Like what's going to be fun about this season, which is why I'm like actually looking forward to it, is there's no expectations. However, this is a team that could make a serious run. You don't expect them to because they're so injured.
Well, it's not just
talent-wise, they could do it.
Yeah, but it's not just us saying that.
Your expectations are low, but the ceiling is high.
I know, but it's not just us saying that because of this roster. It's also what the other things that I mentioned with Tyrese Halliburton being out for most of the year this year and Jason Tatum also being out for most of the year this year. It's not just like what the Sixers have going on.
The East is pretty open.
Giannis might not even be a Buck for that much longer, and they're kind of a mess too. So, I mean,
yeah, no, the season's wide open. Speaking of the East, though, somebody pointed this out online that I think is kind of crazy. With all the years Chris Paul has spent in the league and all the different teams he's been on at this point, he has never gone to the East, which I think is quite interesting.
I'm trying to think of like who's like an NFL player that's like been an AFC exclusive or NFC exclusive, but played for a lot of teams.
Ooh, that is
I'm trying to think, or like an MLB player, AL, NL guy that's like been exclusive to one AL or NL.
This is kind of a stupid example, but just what I'm thinking of off the top of my head. The first guy I think of is James Bradbury. James Bradbury played for just the Panthers, Giants, and Eagles, so not really anything crazy. I would say Hassan Reddick, but he went to the Jets.
Wasn't Josh Norman? Josh Norman was pretty similar to James Bradbury, played for like the same teams.
If Hassan Reddick didn't go to the Jets, I think Hassan Reddick would be a great example of Cardinals.
What about Juju Smith-Schuster?
Buccaneers.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, he's always been the AFC. Yeah. Huh. What about
who's
baseball?
A good baseball player example?
Yeah, I was just saying that baseball. It would be really funny if I look right now. No, wait, no. Chapman started his career with the Reds.
No, I was gonna. Yeah, he was one of the first I thought about, but he's with the Reds already. Didn't he play for the Pirates for a little bit of time too?
He's been on a lot of teams. Man, who is a guy? It's tough, man. That's what I mean. That's what makes it so crazy about Chris Paul. You can't really think of a guy who's been in the league for a long time, a great player who's played for at least like 4 different teams, and all the teams have been in the same conference. You can't really think of anyone besides Chris Paul.
Hold on, I might have a great example. Hold on.
No, definitely not Mark Cooper.
Hold on one sec. I'm confirming this.
Cooper Kupp, it's only 2 teams, the Rams and the Seahawks.
Oh, I was going to say AP, my favorite player of all time, but he did spend that little time with Tennessee. But other than that, he was all NFC.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Adrian
Vikings,
Pearson.
Saints, Cardinals, Washington, Lions, Seahawks, but he also
What
split that.
about T.O.? Wait a minute. What about T.O.?
No, he played for the
Or did
Bills
he go
and the
to the
Bengals.
Bills?
Bills and the Bengals.
Oh, yeah. Damn, man. Yeah, see, it's tough. It's tough. You can't really think of anybody.
Brandon Cooks played for a lot of teams, but he's been on both sides of the conference.
What about Ryan Fitzpatrick played for the Buccaneers, but I feel like outside of that, he spent most of his time in the AFC. So no, I can't go with Fitzpatrick either. Yeah, no, I stand by it. Chris Paul's the only real example.
Chris Paul, man, what a guy! What a guy! What are the expectations for the Sixers this year, though? Do you think, even like we're not going to try and suspect that they're going to be completely healthy because we know that's not realistic, but what do we think like a normal Sixers season with the talent that they actually have? Do you think like the 6th seed is actually obtainable?
Yeah. I think realistically, like here's the thing. I think the ceiling is so high and the floor is so low, but realistically, I think it kind of averages out in the middle there, right? So like anywhere from 6th to 9th seed, I think is most realistic. I could very well see them just being injury riddled all year, like they were last year, and finishing as a bottom team in the East. And I could see some crazy scenario in which they actually stay healthy and are a top 4 seed. I think really like that's the thing. I think like let's say you went to Vegas and oh wait, no, this isn't going to make any sense. Forget what I was about to say, but basically, like I think each seed has a possibility of seeing the Philadelphia 76ers there. You know, like it's not like with the 76ers from 3 years ago. Like the 14 seed was not a possibility. There was no chance of that happening. Anywhere 10 through 14, it's like, yeah, right. The Sixers
do you think a Team Bona?
And then you look at the process Sixers, and it's like obviously no seed in the run of the playoffs is a possibility. They're going to be a bottom tier team.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this about the current Sixers. Do you think a Dean Bona can have a better year than Gershon Yabusele did last year?
Maybe. I do like Bona, but I am still upset Yabusele is gone. But yeah, I think every single seed 1 through 14, there's a possibility of the Sixers finishing as that seed, which is kind of interesting. I mean, they could finish literally anywhere.
How many wins? What would you set the over under wins at if you're Vegas? Do you think they could get 50?
So let me think. So if 500 is 41,
do you think they can
I'm
get
50? 43 wins.
43?
I'm going to say 43.
43 is not the 6th seed. 43 is not going to be the 6th seed, though. The 6th seed is going to be at least like 47, 48.
Yeah, but I think I'm just saying mid 40s.
43 is like
50. Of course, 50 is a possibility. I think there is a.
I know. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you.
60.
I'm just telling you with the format. I'm just telling you with the format of the league that 43 they'll be in the play-in tournament if they have 43 wins. They'll make the play-in tournament, but they will be in it for sure with 43 wins.
Yeah, that's why 43 could be a 7 or 8 seed.
Yeah, so they'll be playing in the play-in tournament, but fair enough if you think that. I think they can get like 40.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think it's going to end up being a mediocre team at the end of the day because the talent is so good, but these guys aren't going to spend all that much time on the court together. So yeah, I think it's just going to be a mediocre.
Well, I'm just happy that we have like a true two-way player that I think has so much room to grow as an offensive player, but I think he's going to be very impactful as a defensive player, and he's just like a high flyer. And we haven't had like an athletic like wing like since like Andre Iguodala, pretty much.
You know what? Last thing we'll talk about. Do we see him in the dunk contest this year?
That would be so electrifying. Imagine that, because isn't the All-Star game for the MLB in Philly?
Yeah.
So imagine if we dominate the All-Star games this year with VJ Edgecombe winning the dunk contest in the NBA, and then we host the All-Star game for the MLB. That'd be awesome for Philadelphia sports, honestly.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nice. And just as a general thing, I do love all the big events that are happening in Philly over this course of 3 years. 2 years ago, a little less than 2 years ago, you had WrestleMania in Philly. Now you have the MLB All-Star Game coming up in Philly. You have World Cup games coming up in Philly. So,
No one cares
we're
about
getting a
soccer.
lot of good stuff.
No one cares
What's
about
that?
soccer. No one cares about soccer.
Huh?
No one cares about soccer.
I can't
No one
even.
cares about soccer.
It's the World Cup. It's the biggest sporting event in the entire world.
No one wants to hear that. We want to talk football americano. You paisana.
Hey! No, because last week I wanted to talk about Union winning the Supporter Shield, and you didn't care. So
yeah, because I don't care about soccer. I care about football. How's your fantasy football team doing?
So I don't think so. My Elevation 5280 Sports League, I haven't even checked because I don't think they're doing well today. But let me see.
Why'd you say it like that? Why'd you say it like that? Like, I don't think they're doing well today. Like, that's your squad, but you're like removed from them.
Oh, because the reason why is because Michael Pittman did nothing today, and Carter did nothing. But I just checked. I'm currently winning 132 to 101, but I'm projected to lose 141 to 137. So I do have a decent shot here in this
game. Be a little nail biter at the end here.
Who do I currently have playing then? Oh, I have Xavier Worthy still playing. Okay. And he has Jaden Daniels for Monday night. And he's got DJ Moore for Monday night as well. So I could end up winning, and that would be my fourth win in a row in that league. And then in the other league that we're in together on Sleeper, I've also won a few games in a row in that league. And right now I'm in a close game against my boy Josh, where I'm currently winning 126 to 64. He's currently got David Montgomery playing, and then he has Josh Allen Monday night. I am left with the guy from the Commanders, who I don't even know how to say his name, the running back that I like.
Bill?
And I got his
McCroskey Merritt.
Yeah, I have him Monday night as well. So I have 2 games in fantasy this week. Hopefully I can win them both. It's not looking good against Josh. And me and Josh even and we've just been talking shit to each other all week. So this is a game I want to win, but it's not looking great. But David Montgomery hasn't done anything yet in this game. So if David Montgomery shits the bed and I get a good performance out of Krosky, then he's going to need a big performance from Josh Allen, which is likely, but who knows? So I do still have a chance.
Real quickly before we get out of here, Dante, how'd you actually feel when the Phillies lost in the playoffs? Because you're really a big baseball guy. I love the Phillies too, but you're a huge baseball guy, and this is another year of frustration. How'd you actually feel? Like, what was?
I'll tell you how I feel. I'm not so as upset that they got eliminated. Don't get me wrong, I am. I'm more so upset that ever since the second half of that series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, I have witnessed the Phillies offense continuously do absolutely nothing, and it's like pins and needles. I've seen so many innings of postseason baseball, so many consecutive innings of them just doing nothing on offense. Like it's torture at this point. It's like every time It's like every game, it's like at least 6 innings in a row where they barely get anyone on base. They don't drive in any runs. And this has been basically 3 playoff series in a row when you consider, how was that Montgomery? Shit, I think that was Montgomery.
All right, well, we got to wrap it up. I'm upset about the Phillies too, but my computer is on 1% and I am producing the podcast. But thank you guys for tuning in to episode 118 of the Paisan Sports Podcast. Hopefully next week we'll be talking about an Eagles victory, them getting back on track.
All right. I guess his computer actually did die. That's pretty funny. Mid-outro. So I'm going to be delivering the outro this time. That's right. This is like when your mom has to work late, either that or I don't know, she's banging her boss, and your dad is in charge for the night. You know what I mean? No more strict mom, no more boring old mom. The fun dad is in charge for the night, except really it's just for the outro. And that's what it is here. Let's get Zach out of there. Let's get this. Hopefully next week we're going to be talking some good news. No, get that shit out of here, man. I have no idea where I'm going with this. I don't know what he was about to say, honestly, because it's not like we're going to have – actually, no, I guess we will be talking – we will be doing the podcast after the Eagles game on Sunday. So no, hopefully we will have an Eagles win against the Vikings. And here's the thing. If we don't have an Eagles win against the Vikings, I'm going to, I don't want to say anything crazy on the podcast, but I am not going to be doing well if the Eagles lose 3 times in a row. Partially because, when we were up 2 scores against the Broncos, I texted my cousin, this is great. This is the 4th year in a row of having a dominant Eagles team. And they have been mightily outscored ever since I sent that text. So that's the other reason. Have I jinxed the Eagles? Have I screwed them? So they better win. I think I might